Hi, and welcome to the Average Feminist podcast. This should be episode 4, I believe, and today is quite exciting because this is my first remote recording. I'm not very techie, I'm not very good at all the technology things, so the first 3 episodes so far have just been either like housemates or people that I've kind of been seeing anyway, so they've been able to come and record, but I think I've mastered the whole distance thing, which means I can have way more guests on, people from different places who study different things, you know, people outside of my everyday bubble but who are still my friends, so that's really exciting. So today I have on a friend, she is called Lottie. I will get her in just a minute because she's going to have to hop in on the phone. Also, because I'm recording this on the phone, I think the quality is actually quite a lot better than normal. So if you do think that the quality is better, please let me know, because otherwise I will keep recording on my phone, because I think from what I can tell, I did a test run with Lottie and it seemed to be quite a lot better. So if you enjoy this audio a lot more than the previous 3 episodes, please do let me know on the Instagram, or you can email, or because I think that's the only 2 places really. But yeah, please let me know. So I'm going to get Lottie on in just a second, and we're going to be kind of talking about, you know, sexism in kind of Hollywood and just the celebrity industry in general, and maybe a couple of other things depending on how the time goes. But yeah, I'm going to go and get Lottie now, and then we'll be back with the rest of the episode. Enjoy! Hi, it's me from the future. I've just kind of listened back and edited the pod and everything and made sure that everything's good, but I just wanted to hop in and say it's really quite funny because I'm gonna put this, I mean, you'll know where I put this because I've put it in, but I'm putting it in between like the kind of introduction I did by myself and then the actual rest of the podcast with Lottie when we actually spoke. But it's so funny, and I can't go over how funny it is because her audio is so crisp and clear and good, kind of like mine sounded at the start, and I genuinely sound like I phoned into her and it sounds like she's the host and I'm a guest, which I just think is so funny. Not that, I don't know, I just find it really funny that my audio has gone to shit. So I'm going to play around with that in the next couple of episodes and hope that it can get better. But I just wanted to come in and say that I think that's really funny. So I'll leave you with that. If it's the person with bad audio, it's actually me talking and not Lottie. She has great audio, so enjoy the podcast. It's a fun one. Hello?
Hello.
Hello, it's working!
Yay!
Welcome to the podcast!
Yay!
So I kind of introduced you a little bit, but I mean, feel free to say, I didn't really say a lot, I just said that you're my friend. So if there's anything else you want to
add. My name's Lottie, and yeah.
19? Loving life?
I know, yeah, literally. The best kind of way.
Yeah. I also said that we're going to be talking about kind of celebrities in like Hollywood and everything, and the kind of sexism that comes along with that.
Yeah.
Brilliant. You love to see it. I thought we could start off with Taylor Swift, because she's probably one of the biggest examples of sexism in kind of celebrity culture.
Yeah.
So I actually did watch, and I did share it on the Instagram. I watched a video by Not Corey, who I haven't watched a lot of his stuff, but he seems very great. Everyone should go and follow him, check him out. And actually, I think the video is still on one of the highlights on the Instagram. So if you want to watch the video, I did kind of, it's not linked because I'm not at 10,000 followers. We're way off that. But, you know, it kind of has the exact title if you wanted to go and look it up or whatever. But he kind of spoke about the whole Taylor Swift thing as well, and the sexism in the industry, and just how so much like controversy has surrounded her, and it's so based on the fact that she is a woman, and it just would not be the same if it was a man.
Honestly, I literally find it so like infuriating how like, I don't know, just like women get like treated, and it's just for no reason like whatsoever. Like I don't get it. Like a man could do the same thing, and in most scenarios, like there's nobody cares.
I know. Well, I think Taylor even pointed it out in an interview once. I think someone was asking or saying about all her boyfriends and how all her music is about her exes or whatever, which like obviously you take inspiration from your own life, so
Well, yeah, precisely. So many people like write about like their love lives, and the majority of songs are about like love and what they've been
exactly.
through.
She turned around, and I'm pretty sure this happened. She turned around and she just went, "Well, Ed Sheeran does the same thing. Do you have a go at him for that?"
Yeah, literally.
Like,
I
and
just
what?
don't.
They're good songs. Songs are based. The whole point of a song is it's kind of based on your personal experience. It's an expression of art.
Precisely. I just
And
like it's so. You could. I couldn't. I generally couldn't say I could list a lot of her like partners in life either. Like I just don't. I don't get it. Like it's.
I mean, I probably could list a lot, but I do like Taylor Swift, and I kind of followed her for a while, and it just.
Yeah.
But I think the thing is as well, like, first off, she was a woman, and I think she's like in her 30s now, but she's been in the limelight for a long time, like since her teenage years, now through to either her late 20s, or I think she's just started her 30s. So you kind of, it's not uncommon to date a fair few people in that time.
That's like your prime as well, isn't it? Like
Exactly.
that's when you like do that.
It's a girl in her teens and then a woman in her 20s. Like, you're gonna date some people. It's only because she's so high profile that it's, I also think as well, I mean, first off, if it was someone in your own life, you probably wouldn't be making the same comments. You shouldn't be making the same comments.
Yeah.
But you can also see all these male celebrities who are seen with a different girl every week, and it's like, yeah, I get it. Wow. It's seen as something to be envied, whereas, God forbid, a woman has more than one boyfriend in her whole life.
Oh, I know. And she like gets with them before marriage and all that, because that's just awful.
Oh my God, I know. Guys, we can't be showing our ankles or our shoulders. They're too distracting.
Yeah. Honestly, can't wear strappy tops.
Can't wear strappy tops because it's just, we live in the 1800s.
Honestly, one's shoulder is just too appealing. No, but I find it, I don't, well, you see Leonardo DiCaprio with like 14,000 women, like, and it's just, nobody cares. But then I suppose like women are quite overly sexualized and called things like cougars if they so much as date someone a tiny bit younger than them. It just, whereas like Leonardo DiCaprio, just like nothing at all. He's just like, oh yeah, well done.
Yeah, I think, so I would say the perception is, at least from what from just someone who consumes media on an average basis, the perception you kind of get from it is, if a guy manages to get a younger woman, that's like impressive, good on him, well done. Like, you managed to secure this really young, attractive woman. Which, like, I'm not here to comment on age gaps. That's your own. If it's a healthy relationship and everything, that's completely fine. But
yeah, then, like, some people can be like the same space.
Man, then it's kind of, it's called like a cougar, and it's not like a clap on the back, like, oh, well done, you've like conquered that. It's just a total different expectation and everything.
Yeah, it's like, for a man, it's like, oh, that's another one under your belt. Like, well done, you've scored. You've got that one. Who's next? Whereas a woman, like, they just expect it. They're just being a creepy pervert or something, and it's just like, well, not really.
Yeah, exactly. I also think the concept of like, another one on your belt, like, for a guy, it kind of is like, how high can you get your number in a way?
Yeah, what's it called? Like body count, innit?
Yeah, like, how high is your body count? Whereas for girls, I would say it's more of a, what can we do to keep our body count low? Let's try and make sure it's as low as it possibly can be.
Yeah, like, really just test men and only be about a relationship. And it's like, well, that's not what the world's like anymore. It doesn't fit.
If you want a body count of 2, that's great. If you want a body count of 20, that's great. Do what's good for you.
Yeah, honestly, like, go for it. It just doesn't, I don't get why it matters.
I mean, it shouldn't. It shouldn't.
No.
I just think, and like kind of moving into more celebrity interviews, like, the questions that these people ask, like Taylor Swift, just because we've been speaking about her already, like, you know, an interview where they were like, oh, are you going to be going home with a man tonight? Like, you're going to go home with a man. And she's like, no, I'm not. I'm just going to go home. I'm going to read to my cats. Like,
she was winning awards and still all they wanted to talk about
I know.
was just some kind of gossip on her love life. Who is she going to get with? And she's like, can you not please just celebrate my achievements and
Yeah.
and, you know, my music?
And they're like, they just assume, it's just the assumptions. It's just so like stereotypical, like female things. It's just ridiculous.
It really is. I think Rihanna had a similar one as well, where she was asked something like, I mean, these compilations come around all the time on like Facebook and like they're everywhere. They're not hard to find, these interviews. So
Yeah.
Rihanna, like, what are you looking for in a man or something? And she was like, well, I'm not looking for a man. So
Yeah, literally.
like, let people be single, let people enjoy being single. I think Anne Hathaway as well, there was a question. It was like, how did she choose what she was going to wear to the press conference or something? I think that was the question. It was definitely something about her outfit, I think, because she just straight up turned around and said, are you also asking all the men here tonight the same question?
Yes, honestly.
Like, you can't go to a press conference to like advertise a movie that you've worked on and the job that you've done, and you know, like, that's her career, that is her career. Love it or hate the acting industry, like, you know, she's worked on a movie's coming out, she's there to promote it, and then all they're asking her is how she chose what she wore to the event.
I think it's like very toxic as well, because like in like the acting and like singing and whatnot, like the sort of like performing, like women get asked that, but however, like if it was a woman that just painting or something, like it's nothing about that. So I don't understand this like toxic environment in that, but maybe it's because it's so male dominated for sure.
True. I was speaking to someone, it might have been you yesterday. If it was, I'm going to rehash this conversation. It might have also been someone else. I'm awful at keeping track of who I speak to. But I was speaking to someone, probably you, and we were kind of saying, like, especially with singers and stuff, like, if you go to a show of like a female singer, it's like a performance. Like, they put on a show. There's fireworks, there's dancers, there's, you know, it's a whole show.
Yeah.
Whereas like Ed Sheeran can rock up with a guitar and just sing, and that's enough. And it's kind of almost like people, like, a woman has to work 10 times harder.
Well, yeah, like, don't take me the wrong way, but like there's a lot of like male artists, not going to name names because it's a bit like, you know, but that can turn up scruffy in like a plaid t-shirt or something and just like it's fine, whereas like, God forbid, like Taylor Swift or Beyonce has like an eyebrow that's not plucked or isn't wearing like the nicest clothes ever, then, you know, it's like, oh well, she's not making an effort, or what's happened to her, she looks awful. Whereas nobody says that about any of these male artists.
Exactly. And like, you know, no harm to them. I would happily go and see their shows, you know, that like, because you
go for it.
Music, and that's, you don't need the show. And or like, again, Taylor Swift is a great example. Her shows are great. Little Mix, like, you know, they go full out. To be honest,
honestly,
artists do. Like Ariana Grande, she was having a car on stage in her shows and everything.
Yeah.
And it's great, and it's a great experience, and it adds a lot to it. But there should be the expectation of they can also rock up in some old jeans and a baggy shirt and just have the same respect.
I think like people that wouldn't be satisfied with like just witnessing their voice and their singing and just seeing them, like they like them for a different reason, like altogether. Like they're not interested in their actual talent whatsoever.
Yeah, I think that's the difference, I guess, because for me, it's always been like, I love Ariana Grande. I listen to her music. I love her music. And so I would go, I really want to see Ariana Grande live. Whereas, like, other people would see clips of her live or something and be like, wow, she's got the fireworks, she's got the dancers, she's got this, she's got that. I want to go see her live.
Yeah, like it looks like an amazing time when really actually it should just be about their talent, full stop.
Yeah, and I mean, you know, also in part, I'm sure that they enjoy putting on that show.
Yeah,
I'm sure they're not sitting there, you know, I would like it. It would be so, like, you know, if I was a famous singer, I'd probably be like, yeah, I want to dance, I want to choreograph dance, I want to do this, I want to do that. it's not that they can't do it and they can't enjoy doing it, because it does look like it's a lot of fun, if not very tiring, but a lot of fun.
Yeah.
But they should be able to rock up and not have to put in all the effort just to get to the same place.
Yeah, and like it does make you think, like, no wonder they're so like tired and just exhausted by the end of it, like, and after just like 4 shows and they're just done, like, over it.
Yeah, I mean, Ariana's tour smashed her mental health.
Yeah, completely.
She was awful after it, but she was like, gotta keep going.
Yeah, just got to do it because she's very conscientious of like her fans, and
which is, you know, lovely of her. She's a great person, but
yeah, but it's such a shame that like the standards, like specifically for women, I think, are set like that, because it's just not, it's not good for a human in general to do that.
No, absolutely not. It's not fair at all.
No.
So yeah, I mean, another interview that I remember, Scarlett Johansson did one for one of the Avengers films. I can't remember which one. She was sat next to Jeremy Renner, and the interviewers straight up asked her what underwear she wore while she was which isn't an appropriate question in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah, you just like, it's unnecessary information. That's just like, it doesn't, like, they like, I think I've seen that video, they ask like all the like male like actors and whatnot, in like, really, in like, how was your like workout routine, and they just ask her what like underwear she wore underneath the suit, and it's just like, why? Like, what is the reason? Like, why are you asking that? There's nobody's like, she's wearing underwear, like, it is what it is.
Yeah, I mean, that kind of, I would say, goes into the topic of more like thinking that you have the right to, I mean, partly that you have the right to just women's bodies and like knowing, but also in like the other way, it's more having the right, because she's a celebrity, to think that you can know the ins and outs of her life.
Yeah, and I suppose she can't, because people know she has a reputation to uphold, she cannot like turn around and bite someone's head off, can she, you know?
I mean, I'd respect it.
I'd be like, you go, gal. But I mean, if it sounds really like weird, but like, if it was some sort of like jokey question, like, you know, if I was running around like that, my boobs would not stay in my bra or something, like, I don't know how you did it, like, tell us some secrets. But like,
but also it was the man that was interviewing her.
Yeah, it's just creepy. There's no like background for it. There's no reason for him to ask that question.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he didn't really understand what, like, from what I can remember from the interview, she kind of called him out on it a little bit, and she was like, that's not an okay question to ask. And he was like, well, I'm just asking, it looks like a really tight suit, like, what do you wear under it? And he just didn't really seem to understand that it was a very
wrong. Yeah, that like inappropriate. It's yeah, gross.
It really is. And then you get things like, do you remember that Cara Delevingne interview years ago?
Yeah, I do. Oh my god, I haven't seen that in ages.
Yeah, she was like really tired, because I mean, I think she was in London, and she, like, you know, she had to wake up really early to like call in to this show in America or something.
Yeah.
And they kept making comments on her appearance and how she was so grumpy, and she was just like, yeah, I'm not putting up with this, bye.
I swear they like tell her to smile a bit more as well in the video, and I'm like, oh my god, that is like, don't ever tell a woman to smile, because like, somebody's not smiling for a reason, and nobody has to smile. Like, the fact that that's a trait that women should be doing all the time, and just like, not being funny, but we have every right to be like,
oh my god,
irritated honestly with the world.
When I was I'm gonna try and remember this story, but I don't know how much of it I'm gonna be able to remember, because it was a while ago. But when I was like still in sixth form and I was working at the pub I worked at, there was this one like semi-regular customer, and he was supposed to be a bit of like a VIP. We were supposed to treat him really, like, you know, give him like the best service, because he would generally spend a lot of money there and everything. And there was this one time, and I think I was just like carrying food out to him or something, and the plates were quite hot, And I think I did like look at him and just kind of, was I walking past or something? I think I had a couple interactions with him like that night. And kind of like, if I would look over and see him looking at me, you know, you just catch eyes with people, like not in a weird way that he was looking at me. I'd kind of like smile and just like twitch my lips a bit. I'm not much of a teeth smiler when I greet people.
Yeah.
Like even if I saw you walking down the high street and we were both kind of on the phone or with a, you know, not in like a stop and say hi kind of way, I wouldn't like grin at you. I would like wave and I'd give a little like
tiny little smile and just be like, oh, like an acknowledgement.
Like it's just what you do.
Yeah.
And then I was carrying his food to him or something, and I was trying to like concentrate obviously on not dropping the plates or whatever and not spilling things. It was quite busy, and he always wanted to sit in the bar, so it was like a lot smaller and a lot more packed in there. And he just kind of looked at me and was like, oh, go on, give us a smile. And I was like, stop. And he was the kind of guy who would always like click at you to get your attention and like wave.
I hate that, honestly. I hate it.
He was not a great customer, but he did make a comment about me smiling, and I was like, stop. I mean, I didn't say anything because it was my job and I couldn't say anything without getting in any trouble. So I think
that's such a shame as well, because like, oh, it's just wrong.
It was so wrong, and I was so angry about it for the rest of the night, and I was like, I can't believe that you just told me to smile. Like, I don't know, I will smile politely at you, but I'm not happy right now. I think that was kind of what I said to everyone that night, like, you know, my co-workers and stuff. I was like, I'm not going to walk around just grinning just in case.
You can't. You'll get like muscle spasms in your face.
It would look weird if I was walking through the pub carrying plates in either hand and just grinning.
Yeah, literally, like it ends up looking a bit creepy after a while if you're trying to be like
if I catch eyes with you, I will smile. If I'm talking to you, I will smile. I won't just walk around smiling. Because I think he's like, you look really grumpy, you need to smile more. And I was like, well, I'm not exactly ecstatic, I'm working.
It's the fact that there's like no respect of like this person might have something really awful. I mean, like if it was really like, say someone was giving really, really bad service and you were just like, can you like be a bit brighter or something, or at least just like acknowledge that I'm here, that's kind of fair enough because you are paying for something. But like, you don't know what that person's like had, and they're at the end of the day, they're coming to work probably not very well paid because it's not like the top job in the world, is it? But like, you don't know what they've just been through. Like, you just can't.
I've got to work before knowing that my cat had gone to the vets and was dying.
Yeah.
I'm working a shift, like I know that when I get picked up from this, like I will have, my pet will have gone. I will have one less pet than when I came into the shift. And then I went in the next day after we like buried him. And like, I still put on, you know, a nice face, a nice service, like, yeah, I'm happy. But also like, I like to think that I wasn't bad at my job. I was promoted when I left school, so I couldn't have been that bad at it. And like I said, you know, I was giving him, if not great, I mean, I don't specifically remember the night, but if it wasn't 5-star service, it wasn't bad service by any means. It was just that I was walking around not grinning, because who does that?
I just like, there's no, people aren't silly as well. They do know when like there's more to it. Like you can see if like a waiter or waitress is like stressed, can't you?
Exactly.
Like running here, there, and everywhere, and pouring pints, and you can see it. And what I just don't get why you would comment.
No,
it's just like, it's not.
People have no respect for service workers.
Oh, for sure, literally.
Yeah, especially because like where we're from is so middle class and like rural and everything. They're the kind of people who probably, a lot of them, I'd say it's probably 50-50. But like a good 50% of them probably never had to work that kind of job in their life. Like, you know,
I know, literally. They've
like parents got through life until they could get their own well-paying job.
People like come down here when they've like done well in life and they just like own a massive cottage and then can like just retire and just irritate everyone around them.
Exactly. So, I mean, if you are, I'd say a young person, because if you're an older person, you're probably not going to leave your job and go and work in service. But if you're a younger person listening to this, be slightly more considerate of people working in service if you've never worked in it before. If you have worked in it before and it's been a while, just try and think back to some of the awful experiences you've had.
Yeah, everyone's had them, literally everyone.
Everyone had them. And yeah, if you're a young person and you haven't worked in the industry yet, I would recommend it. If you're in school or something, if you're in uni, maybe just go for a little summer job or something, just so you know what it's like. You never want to be the person that treats, like you worked in a pub as well, like whilst we were still in school doing full-time education, having to study outside of that because full-time education isn't enough to pass A levels.
Yeah, literally.
Like chances are these people aren't there because they think it's fun. A lot of people who work in shops or in pubs or anything, like in those kind of jobs, are there because they need to pay their way through school or university, and maybe they are like older and this is just their full-time career for the foreseeable future, and that's obviously completely fine, but you just need to, you wouldn't want to be treated that way at your job. And sure, if it's really bad service, that's okay to be mad at, but just try and be a little bit more considerate, I would say.
Especially like when you think like about, I can remember being like really young and just getting paid like £5 an hour, and it's like, if you say like a return from like home to school and like back is like £5, that's already an hour of my like wage.
Oh yeah.
So it's like, God, like they're doing all this thing, like this stuff, and they're getting paid nothing. So it's just like, be considerate. It's just ridiculous.
Yeah, it's another thing, like the people that are working for, if you go to a pub and there are young people working there, chances are, from at least our experiences, they're probably going to be very underpaid.
Yeah, definitely.
So just keep that in mind. Like, they don't have the highest incentive to be giving you the best service because they're getting so little from it.
Even like a £50 tip gets like spread between everyone, that everyone only gets like 20p.
Oh god, yeah. So our tips actually worked quite weirdly compared to a lot of, like, a lot of people work in pubs and stuff, so I've spoken to a lot of people about how their tips work. Ours worked quite weirdly because it would just get put in a pot and then it would be split between like everyone. Housekeeping would get a share, like the kitchen, the KPs, everyone would get a share other than like the owner. But it would kind of be at the end of the month, all of the tip money was added up and divided among how many hours total every single member of staff worked. So then you would get you'd get a fixed rate of money for tip for how many hours you worked, or like for 1 hour. And then that fixed amount would just be times by how many hours you had worked that month.
Oh.
It was quite complicated, but...
That is complicated. I can kind of understand though.
I liked the fact, obviously, even though it meant that we got less, I liked the fact that it was split with the kitchen and everything, because at the end of the day, they're the ones who make the food.
Yeah.
Like, without them, without the waitresses, it takes two. Without the waitresses, the service wouldn't be the same. But people don't go for waitresses and for service necessarily.
Yeah, you go for the food, yeah.
So I liked the fact that the kitchen and the KP, because you need a KP to keep a kitchen running smoothly. I worked a long time when there was no KP in the kitchen because we struggled to find one after people left or whatever. So like, I know how much KPs actually do keep the kitchen running and keep everything going smoothly.
Yeah, because as soon as they're not there, it's like,
Then you have to try and have chefs or waitresses hopping in to do the washing up, and then things get used so many times in a night. It is a nightmare to not have one. So I liked the fact that everyone got their share. I thought that was quite nice.
It just makes it a lot easier, doesn't it? You don't feel like you're kind of being like cheated in a way, do you?
No, exactly. Kind of moved away from feminism a bit there.
Still the same thing though. I suppose it's like, it still relates though. It's all in...
It's still something that needs to be fixed in society. We are not here just for the women. We are here for everybody.
Yeah, we're here for everyone.
Feminism is not bringing up women, putting everyone else down. It's supporting everyone.
Yeah, and it's also just equalising like the whole lot.
Exactly. So I can't even remember how we got into pub life.
The smile. It was about the smile.
Smile. Ugh. Stupid smile.
It just makes me want to vomit. Like, it's just like, oh, get away, stop.
Yeah, like so many people as well. And I mean, I get it still in clubs and stuff, but I think honestly it might have happened more when I was waitressing, which is the thing where like men would be trying to walk past and they would just touch your waist.
Oh, don't. Honestly, it's so creepy. Like, sometimes you have to, like, lean over people to put dish down and they're like, it's too close. Like, just stop. Like,
and I mean, I get that they're trying to, like, tell you that they're there, and I get it, because, like, with my friends and stuff, if I'm trying to squeeze past them, I'll often, like, tap their shoulder to let them know not to walk back or whatever. But at the same time, like, just be like, I'm behind you, or tap my shoulder, don't hold my waist, you know, I'd much rather that.
Yeah, like, they hold your, like, whole body, and it's like, get off me, ew.
Yeah, don't put your hand on my waist, I'm uncomfortable with that, like, just walk past me, tell me
and it doesn't matter who it is.
God, no.
It's just creepy.
Just like, excuse me, miss, I'm walking behind you, please don't bash into me. And I'll be like, honestly, of course not, thank you for telling me and not holding my waist.
I used to get, like, people, like, touch my body when I was walking past to try and, like, get, like, another order or, like, for the bill. And I'm like, you could just, like, I don't know, like, wave a hand or something. Just don't touch me. It's so disgusting.
Yeah, you can't just randomly touch people and assume they'll be okay with it.
Honestly, like, sometimes they'd, like, touch your, like, shoulder blade and it's like, get off.
Yeah, people quite often, I'm pretty sure someone grabbed my wrist at one point.
Oh no.
And I was like, can you not? Like
and you can't it's so awful because you can't be rude, because like they will somehow make it your fault and you'll be the one that gets in trouble because the customer's always right. But I'm like, when it comes to that sort of thing, it's not right at all. Yeah,
we should not have the idea of the customer always being right, because that's just slightly ridiculous.
It's just awful. I hate it. It's like one of the reasons why I was like, I can never go back to doing that ever again, because
for sure,
it just excuses like sort of every type of, like, I don't know, just you feel the one like being disadvantaged and like discriminated against as well. It's like horrible.
Yeah, for sure. I knew, like, when I left for uni, I was like, I can't go back.
No.
And for a while I did consider it because I needed a job and I couldn't find one anywhere, and I was like, oh no, am I going to have to go back into waitressing? But for now, I'm out and I don't see myself going back ever, hopefully.
Because you realise how bad it was once you've left.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, when you have time to actually, because like, especially last summer, between finishing my A-levels and going to uni, like, you just, you know, I was working pretty much every day. I'd been promoted, so I was like a supervisor.
Yeah.
So I was, even if I wasn't at work, sometimes I was being involved in work. Sometimes I was having to go in to like help out or, you know, whatever. I'd go in with friends and it'd be a really busy shift. So I'd kind of have to hop on the bar a bit and help out because I felt bad, because these, you know, the people I worked with, my friends. So I was working a lot, and so I didn't really have time when I wasn't working to think about work.
Yeah, you don't get the time to process it, do you?
Exactly.
And like, actually, that wasn't right. That shouldn't have happened, and I should have said something. But you're in such a rush, and you just,
and also you can't say something.
Yeah, and that's definitely a really bad thing. I think the moment that you cannot, when you feel like kind of oppressed to a certain extent, obviously not awful, but like that's the minute that it's just gone wrong.
Yeah, we had this one like regular customer who would come in, and he was like an old man, and he would always so like our restaurant, I think it's quite common, like I know very few places that don't work like this, but like you would come in, you would say either like we have a table booked or we have a table, but you know, like, do you have any tables for us to eat at or whatever? And we'd be like, yeah, either this is the table that you booked or this is one that hasn't been booked, and we would take them to their table and sit them down and everything.
Yeah.
This one guy, without a doubt, would always, no matter how many times we told him, would just walk into the restaurant and always sit at this one table.
Oh, that's so annoying.
Like, I had to go up to him so many times and be like, this table has been booked, you can't sit here. And he'd be like, but this is my favourite table. And I'd be like, well, then you should call ahead and book it. Like,
yeah, book it.
that's not my problem. But like, whenever he would get his food, and it was like with all the waitresses he would ask, he'd be like, oh, do you want to come and join me?
Oh no.
And I think he used to go with his daughter, who was like, you know, he was quite old, so she was older too. She obviously wasn't like our age.
Yeah.
They were both fully functioning adults.
Yeah.
But he'd always be like, oh, do you want to sit down and join us, have some dinner? And we'd be like, no, haha, working. One time, I think, as far as I know, from what I can remember especially, this only really happened with me. But I think it was a weekday night and he came in, so it was really quiet because we didn't get a lot of people in on weekday nights.
Yeah.
Otherwise known as weeknights. Weekday nights. I didn't really think that through until I said it twice, and I was like, that's just a weeknight though, isn't it, Libby?
Yeah, that just does not sound right.
It's not a weekday night, it's just a
weekday night.
One of the nights of the weekdays. And like I think he was drinking Prosecco. He normally would have like some kind of lager or cider or something, but I think he was drinking Prosecco that night or something. And he was just kind of asking me about alcohol, and I was just like, oh, I don't drink. And I don't drink. I don't like it. There are many reasons why I don't drink, but the main one is probably I just really don't like the taste of alcohol. Don't vibe with it. It's just not for me. So I just choose not to drink. But like, obviously, every time I say to anyone I don't drink, I always get the question of like, oh, why don't you? And then I have to explain it and everything.
Yeah.
So I just kind of didn't really want to get into it with him. So I'm pretty sure he just said like, oh, is it because you're like, you drive to work and everything? And I was like, yeah, that's why. Like, you know, I can't drink.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
I'm driving. Because I just, you know, I'm not going to get into it with this old man who I just, you know, whatever.
He doesn't need to know either. It's not his business.
I've got other people to go and serve. And that's not to say that, you know, like, if I was at a table and they started having an actual interesting conversation with me that I was engaged in, obviously, like, part of your job as a waitress, as a server, whatever, is to keep people happy. So if they want to ask you a couple of questions or whatever, you know, you have a bit of a friendly chat. But he kind of asked why I wasn't drinking. We kind of agreed it was driving. And then he was like, oh, one day I'll have to come and pick you up from work and we can go out so that you can drink.
That's just not, so weird.
I think I just went, ha, no thanks, ha, bye.
Yeah, you kind of like play it off, but you're like, oh my God, get away.
I was like, this isn't okay. No. And I literally think I walked back to the bar and I was like, oh my God, I can't believe that just happened.
Yeah.
And I mean, don't get me wrong, I've also been like, this is another thing. It's not just old men, it's younger guys too.
Yeah, anyone.
I was working like a Friday night, I was on close. Me and my friend were like, she'd stayed behind with me. She wasn't working, she'd clocked off. But she'd like stayed so that I wasn't in the pub by myself because these two like young lads were in drinking. And I mean, we were kind of just talking and it was fine. They offered to buy us some drinks. So I think they bought her one. They bought me a soft drink. And then like they kind of literally stayed. And then as soon as they left, I just did like the last one thing, like put their glasses in the, you know, I'd completely finished. I was just waiting for them to go. And then I was working the next day as well, the Saturday lunch. And they came like back in. They were drinking again, they had lunch, they were talking to us again. And like, you know, they were nice people. It was quite a nice conversation that we were having. It was very interesting and everything. But then, like, you know, lunch shift kind of ended. The kitchen used to close between lunch and dinner. So like the pub would be dead for those hours because, you know, no one was coming to eat. A couple of the locals would come down to drink. But it was like quite a quiet time. You were just finish doing everything from lunch and get everything ready for dinner and do like the odd cleaning jobs or whatever that needed to be done in those kind of hours. So we had a beer garden like outside and across the road, and you had to kind of like go through the car park a little bit to get there. So I was walking back out and they'd left by this point, like they drove away, and then one of the guys, I guess the one I'd been talking to more or whatever, came back into the car park, like drove back in, got out of his car, I kind of saw him and I was like, oh, and then he was like, I need a wee or something like that. So I was like, oh, fairs.
Yeah.
Like, you know, go for it.
Yeah, go for it. Go on.
I was going to like his plates and stuff. And then it must have been before he went in, he stopped me and he was like, oh, come out with me and my friends tonight, we're going out for drinks. And I was just like, no, I'm okay, thanks, I already have plans, I'm going bowling. Because I was going with who is now my ex, we were going to go bowling that night. And he was like, you're going bowling? And I was like, yeah, don't judge, I'm not a child, bowling is fun.
Yeah, it's such fun.
Bowling is an underrated game. If you haven't been bowling since you're a kid, go bowling. The feeling
you can do it. Something to do.
And they're open now in pandemic times.
Oh, I didn't know that.
They are, yeah, they're open.
Oh, well, that's my next thing.
Yeah, come to Exeter and we'll go bowling.
Yes.
Yes. So anyway, I said to this guy, no, I'm going bowling. And then he was like, no, come on, ditch bowling, come with us. And I was like, no, we've already paid for bowling, I'm going bowling. And then he was like, well, you know, I'll buy you loads of drinks, I'll pay for everything, like you won't lose money by not going bowling because I will just like pay you back, you know, I'll compensate you for everything. And I was like, no, I'm going bowling, it's booked. I was really like, this is like the third or fourth time I'd said to him,
honestly, you need to leave off.
Like, no, I've got plans, I'm not coming out drinking with you. So then he was like, okay, well, just give me your number then. Like, can I just have your number then or something? And I, you know, by this point, I had said no 3 or 4 times. And
yeah, literally no means no in every context.
No one could see me in the car park because everyone was off, like, either in the kitchen or in the restaurant.
So that's even, like, weirder as well, to be there. It's probably because he had, like, there was, like, no crowd, nobody there, so he, like, probably felt the most ballsiest.
Exactly. And, like, I get that, but from my point of view, like, no one could see where I was. None of my friends knew that this guy was talking to me. He'd been drinking the night before and
it was
at
quite
lunch.
a scary, like, situation for you, and he
Yeah,
obviously
so
didn't
I
think
was
about
like,
that.
okay, sure, here's my number. Like, he gave me his phone, I put my number in. I think I accidentally gave him the wrong number because he never called me. But I genuinely, like, I meant to give him my real number and then just, like, block it if he tried to contact me because I just, you know.
Yeah.
And then I remember, like, kind of some of the people that I worked with at the time were like, why did you give him your number? And I was like, guys. And I was just like, well, and then my boyfriend got really angry at me because he was like, you shouldn't have given him your real number. And I was like, I was scared. This is someone I don't know. He's drunk. He's asked me like 5 times now.
Like you don't know. Literally anything could happen. He could be anyone. He could do anything. And like, unfortunately, in those like positions, you just do what you have to, don't you?
Exactly. Like, all I had to do was just say yes, get him to go away, and then if he tried to contact me, just ignore it. Like,
yeah, like you can change a number. Like, it's not the biggest.
Exactly.
You know, as long as you don't have like your locations turned on for everyone in the world, then it's fine.
Well, exactly. And I mean, yeah, like I said, he never actually contacted me, or he never came back to the pub when I was working. But that was another thing that I was so uncomfortable with. Yeah, don't corner someone in a car park and keep asking them.
I don't understand what goes through people's heads, like that is okay to them. Like,
I know.
And like, you're not like, I just don't, especially if you know it's like a fairly young girl who's just like, she's just working, she's doing her job, and she wants to go home, and she said no. Surely that means like enough for your ego to just back off.
I know.
Oh, it's horrible.
It really is. Oh God. Anyway, any more stories?
Stories. The occasional, the whole smile thing. I don't know. It's when I've had like a few times where you like go to like a checkout or something, and then like you buy something that's fairly feminine, like nail polish, and they're like, oh, they make a joke out of it, and it's just like, oh, get off, just shut up. Like, I'm just here to pay.
Did I ask for your comments? No, don't give
Honestly,
me.
I'm like, I could go home and paint my nails, and then go like see my dad and talk about his new motorbike or something. Like, it's just shut up. Like, I don't want to hear it anymore.
Painting your nails is by no means a feminine thing.
Oh, I know.
It's an extension, like the same way that you choose what you wear and you choose how to do your hair and everything, you know, like it's just another way to express yourself.
Honestly, I just hate it. Like the fact that it would be kind of looked down upon for me to just go and shave my head because that's supposedly masculine, and having short hair is masculine and whatnot. Just like things like that, just like shut up.
I know.
But no, it's a shame that it becomes kind of like I referred to it like the usual, like, but it shouldn't be. It just shouldn't be.
Oh yeah, it shouldn't be usual in any way. But it is. Anyway, we've been going on for a lot longer than all the other episodes, so we should probably wrap it up.
Whoops.
Yeah. No, I mean,
we started talking about like the jobs we hated.
Yeah, we really took a wild journey on this episode, but I mean, I enjoyed it.
It's all in relation though. Like it's just, yeah.
Well, exactly. Yeah, this is the point of the podcast, you know. It's supposed to be a conversation, and I go off topic a hell of a lot.
But that's okay though, because as long as it's not like, I don't know, yeah, it's all in relation. It's how people get treated. It's all the same.
Yeah, just more points, you know.
Yeah,
I'm glad to be sharing my stories.
Yes, expose them.
Exposed. So yeah, thank you everyone for listening to this episode. I'm not sorry that it's been longer. You're welcome that it's been longer.
Yeah, literally.
Because actually when I record on, so little inside tea for anyone, I record my podcasts on Anchor, recommended by a friend of a friend. He's been very helpful. I know you're listening. Thanks. I'm not going to shout you out because I don't know if you want to be shouted out, but I'm very vaguely shouting you out. Thanks for the help. So I record them on Anchor. I normally do it on my laptop. I kind of did say before I got you on, Lottie, that this is on my phone for the first time. Normally do it on my laptop. My laptop caps it 30 minutes. My phone has let me go on for 45. So if you like these longer episodes, let me know, because I can definitely talk more. That's fine. I mean, if you listen to any of the other podcasts anyway, by the end I'm always like, oh my god, we've got a minute left, I have to wrap this up now. Let me finish. Whereas now I can just take my sweet time. I can make them longer. I can make so much better. So yeah, let me know if you like the long ones, because I will definitely do that. You can let me know through emailing us, which is at theaverageFeministpodcast@gmail.com. I always put an at the start of an email, and it's not, it's in the middle. Anyway, that's the email. The Instagram is at theaveragefempod. I'd love if you DM'd me, told me how you're liking the podcast, told me if you think the audio is better on the phone, if you prefer the longer, just say hi. I've had quite a few conversations with my listeners on Instagram, and I love getting to know them. So pop up and say hi, because I'm always down for a conversation. I'm procrastinating uni work, because that starts again soon. Is there anything else? Is that it? Follow the Instagram, subscribe to the YouTube, leave a review on Apple Podcasts. Please leave a 5-star review. If you've ever got any suggestions, feel free to message us. But I think that basically covers it. So thanks for joining, Lottie.
That's okay.
It's been so nice having you on and being able to talk to you again.
Oh, honestly, thank you so much.
Oh my god, no, for sure. We will definitely be doing more.
Oh my god, yes.
I mean, if you want to, but...
Oh, of course, I can chat for honestly, I could chat for England if I wanted to.
Well, we're going to.
Yes.
So, yeah, I'm going to end it here. Thank you all for listening. Have a nice week. I've been ending it with really funny things for the last few weeks, and now I can't think of one. Have a nice week, and don't call the people in the car park. Okay, thanks. Bye!